I think it is starting now. Yeah, okay, looks like live. All right. Cool. And I believe it should be showing the correct thing. So once it pops up, let me just... Okay, looks like it's starting on Taylor's screen. Cool. Let me just double check. Make sure it's got up on that sexy picture, sexy pinup that I got there. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Gonna be finishing up this commission I got for Classic Dave once again for Valerie. All right, looks like it's all good on that end. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start coloring. And so we're gonna pick up I'm in Mischief again. I've decided I do like it enough to keep painting it. Painting, I don't know if that's the right word for it. And also Taylor ended up buying the full version. So, I mean, that's a good excuse. Good excuse as any to use a program that I now own. And I still do like it quite a bit for lining and stuff, just because vectors are nice. Anyway, Taylor's making some chocolate milk currently, so once he's done with that, we'll get right into story time, and it'll be great. Tonight we're doing Arabian Nights again, but we last time finished like an arc, sort of. They don't really have arcs, but every now and then Sherazad like completely starts a new story that is not a story within another story, which like sort of makes me wonder like how that happened. Like if she's just like, dude, it'll be fine, we'll start a new story tomorrow night and you should not kill me today. But this start of the story I believe is called The Hunchback, but this is not the same hunchback as the poor hunchback from the last story that got put in a toilet. Right?
And mauled by a Deva in a or a Jen in a cougar form.
Yeah, just that poor dude. All right.
Okay.
So Taylor's gonna come back. He's walking around. I guess he's gonna. I won't repeat that. I don't know what he's doing. After I finish this, because I'm thinking I'll probably finish it, we're gonna go for an hour, because an hour seems to be a good kind of good length of time. I'm gonna, if I get done with this within an hour, which I might, I don't know if I'm gonna do full shading. It's a commission I took on the cheap, so I'm not probably going to do the full shading deal, even though I did draw a background for this one. I mean, I'll zoom out so y'all can see my, look, she's in a bedroom. She's by a cushy thing, and there's a window in the background. Oh my god, it's great! Backgrounds, yes.
Greg is here.
Yes, hello, Greg.
Weird. It seems to be doing a loading thing, as in not loading.
Check my thing. It still says it's live, so hopefully it's okay.
Yep.
All
there
right.
It goes.
Cool. So maybe you just had buffer or something. What was I? I don't know what I was saying. Oh, yeah.
Background.
Okay. If I did a background, but if I finish this before the hour's up, then I'm going to make a dumb little new avatar for me, because I dyed my hair, which like for the first time ever, I've like tinted it before to make it more red looking, but this time I went full. I let my inner high school goth take over, and I did black, or like really dark brown, and purple. It's also for my new LARP character, because I did a wig for the last one, and I wanted to try hair dye for this one. And the next one I'm gonna, well, we'll see whatever the next one is, if there's a next one.
What if this one just lives forever? Are you just gonna keep black hair?
You know, I don't know. I might. It depends on how much I like having black hair too. I don't know. I kind of want. I don't know. It's weird to say that I want to have a rebellious phase where I just dye my hair whatever I feel like. But I kind of want to do that because it sounds like fun. I'll get a tattoo too. Jeez, just go hog wild. I don't know. I do really like. I don't know. It's weird because I've got so much identity wrapped up in like being a redhead, because that's like how I see myself, and it's a weird thing too because I like my hair color is not super red anyway. Like it's in the right light with the right color clothing combination. Like when the clock strikes midnight and the ghost wolves and the stars align and Jupiter is rising in the 7th house of rising suns. I can't remember how that song goes.
Yeah.
Mercury aligns with Mars. I don't know. Wow.
I thought you were talking about House of the Rising Sun.
No, isn't that the same song?
House of the Rising Sun?
No, that's different. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really dumb. That's the moral of the story. I can't remember famous people, and I can only kind of... What is that song called?
Which one?
The one with When Jupiter aligns with Mars. That one.
I don't know.
Really?
What, is it like a recent one?
No, it's like hella old too.
Is it Age of Aquarius?
Yeah, there we go. Age of Aquarius. Moral of the story is when it's the Age of Aquarius, I can't remember lyrics, but my hair looks punk rock. Okay, let's have some story time, and I'll shut up.
Oh, you're doing fine.
No.
Greg has said another question is when do you go full goth?
Oh well, never, because I can't really commit to that. It's too much of a lifestyle. I am probably gonna. I need to email the people at gothcomics.com because I went to their panel and they're like, if you got a goth comic, email me. I'll put it on our site. I'm like, free publicity. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I would like that, especially because it's a thing. Like the same thing with my hair. I get all weird out about like saying that I'm a redhead because I feel like I'm only a pseudo redhead, whereas like I'm like, yeah, my comic's a goth comic. Where like you look at, I don't remember what that guy's name that's friends with Aaron Alexovich, that he did the my Blackstone Match is his webcomic that's on hold because he's doing Edward Scissorhands.
It's fair trade.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet deal for him, I think. But like that guy who's like super goth and like his wife's super goth and like I'm like all the goth kids coming up to their table at the con like with their.
You feel you're only casually goth.
Or like I feel like I'm just goth on the inside. Like I don't really want to. I don't know. I don't have enough metal in my face or dye in my hair. Well, now I do, but I never really wanted to before. I don't know. Life's weird, and we shouldn't live by labels. Is probably the moral of that story. Okay, let's hear an actual story. I'm gonna shut up.
Greg also says each person defines themselves by their actions. Your hair color doesn't make you
any less
Mariah. You are who you are.
I am. Mariah is stupid. That's
nope.
Nope.
All right. The 102nd night. The following night.
What's our page count? We should probably say what page we're on in case anybody buys this edition. Oh yeah, what's the edition?
Oh, are we gonna talk about the history?
No, we already did that. This is more for me. I want to put in the description, so just in case somebody's like pops in, they're like, "What is it? Which one?" Because we're not reading the sexy one. We're reading I don't know.
We're reading the comparatively less sexy, still pretty sexy one.
I don't know if sexy is the right word.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is
full of sex.
Yeah. It is the Hussein Hadaway translation.
Okay.
HUSAINHADDAWY. Hussein Hadawi. And it is based off of the do I still remember this?
I don't know if you're doing that.
Syrian tradition. And is translated originally from the Arabic by an Arab scholar, and is not linked to the Richard Burton translation, which was like the
quote unquote sexy one.
Yeah, which is
the westernized one, I guess.
Yeah, that was the one that was
English
made in Europe for Europeans, where they're like, sex and violence, yes.
Yes, we love this.
Yeah.
We are very white and love sex and
as Greg says, I think the word you were looking for is the sexist version. They're all the
sexist version, I'm sorry to say.
I mean, granted, the entire story is framed by the concept of a woman is proving herself to be, like, not proving, but is being competent and showing the dude that you can't judge all women and just kill them or whatever.
Yeah, but most of the women in the stories are still treated that way.
Yeah.
Or they're really badass. They're really badass wizards or witches or whatever, and then they die for no reason. Like, that princess was awesome. I don't think we read that on air, but it was a great story.
It turned it into, like, it was a princess fighting a demon.
Yeah.
And they kept changing forms. Like, they turned into, I think, big cats, like, monsters, and other, like, giant forms. Shot fire and lightning at each other. It was pretty badass.
Pretty badass.
Okay, the following night, Shahrazad said, the story of the Hunchback. It is related, O king, that there lived once in China a tailor who had a pretty compatible and loyal wife. It happened one day that they went out for a stroll to enjoy the sights at a place of entertainment, where they spent the whole day in diversions and fun. And when they returned home at the end of the day, they met on the way a jolly hunchback. He was smartly dressed in a folded inner robe and an open outer robe, with gathered sleeves and an embroidered collar band in the Egyptian style, and sporting a scarf and a tall green hat, with knots of yellow silk stuffed with ambergris, which is a waxy substance secreted by the intestinal tract of the sperm whale.
Gross.
Often found floating in the sea and used in the manufacture of perfume. That's what ambergris is.
It sounds so pretty, but it comes out of a
The hunchback was short, like him of whom the poet Antar said. Quick note, Antar is a pre-Islamic hero and author of one of the Arabic golden odes. Lovely the hunchback who can hide his hump like a pearl hidden in an oyster shell. A man who looks like a castor oil branch from which dangles a rotten citric lump.
Ugh.
That's terrible. It's a terrible thing to say about a person. He was busy playing on the tambourine, singing, and improvising all kinds of funny gestures. When they drew near and looked at him, they saw that he was drunk, reeking of wine. When he placed the tambourine under his arm and began to beat time by clapping his hands, as he sang the following verses. Go early to the darling... Go early to the darling in Yongjug. Bring her to me, and feed her as you feed a pretty girl, with joy and glee, and make her as pure as a virgin bride, unveiled to please, that I may honor my friend with a cup of wine from Greece. If you, my friend, care for the best in life, life can repay. Then at this moment fill my empty cup without delay. Don't you, my tantalizer, on the plain, the garden see? But morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed in silence. Then Dinarzad said to her sister, what a strange and entertaining story. God, Dinarzad's so easy. So easy with this story.
Well, she's also playing into the...
Yeah. Shahrazad replied, what is this compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night, if the king spares me and lets me live? The 103rd night. The following night, Shahrazad said, it is related, O king, that when the tailor and his wife saw the hunchback in this condition, drunk and reeking of wine, now singing, now beating the tambourine, they were delighted with him, and invited him home to sup and drink with them that night. He accepted gladly, and walked with them to their home. Then the tailor went to the market, it was already dark, and bought bread, fried fish, radishes, lemons, and a bowl of honey, as well as a candle to give them light during their carousing. When he returned, he set the bread and fish before the hunchback, and the wife joined them for supper. The tailor and his wife were pleased to have the hunchback with them, saying to each other, we will spend the night carousing, bantering, and amusing ourselves with this hunchback. They ate until they were satisfied. Then the tailor took a piece of fish and, cramming it in the hunchback's mouth, held it shut and said, laughing, by God, you must swallow the whole piece.
By God.
The hunchback, unable to breathe, could not wait to chew, and he hastened to swallow the piece, which happened to have a larger bone, which stuck in his throat and choked him.
Oh my God.
When the tailor saw the hunchback's eyes rolled up, he raised his hands and boxed him on the chest, and the hunchback's soul left his body, and he slumped lifeless.
He Heinrich'd him like his soul right out of his body. Oh my God.
The tailor and his wife were stunned and trembling and said, there is no power and no strength save in God, the Almighty, the Magnificent. How soon was his appointed hour?
You guys, seriously?
Yeah, we totally didn't kill this guy. God wanted him to die. The wife said to her husband, the tailor, "Why do you sit still and do nothing? Haven't you heard the poet say? How can you sit and let the fire rage on? Such idleness brings ruin and destruction." The tailor asked, "What shall I do?" And she replied, "Rise, carry him in your arms, cover him with a silk shawl, and follow me. If anyone sees us in the dark, we shall say, 'This is our sick boy who took ill a short while ago, and since the doctor could not come to see him, we are taking him there.' If we do that." But morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Then Dinarzad said to her sister, "What a strange and amusing story." Shahrazad replied, "What is this, compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night, if I stay alive?" The 104th night. The following night, Shahrazad said, we're on page 251, by the way. I know we were talking about page count. 251. How do we translation of the Arabian Nights?
How many pages we got?
Total?
Yeah, because we're halfway, looks like.
Yes.
Roughly halfway.
518 pages. It is related, O king, that the tailor carried the hunchback in his arms, covered him with the silk shawl, and followed his wife, who led the way, wailing and saying, "Oh, my boy, may you recover from your illness. Where has the smallpox been lying in wait for us?"
Oh my gosh.
So that whoever saw them said, "These two have a child stricken with the smallpox," until someone directed them to the house of a Jewish physician. When the wife knocked at the door, a maid came down, and when she opened the door, she saw a man carrying a sick child. The wife handed her a quarter dinar and said, "Miss, give this to your master, and let him come down to see my child, who is gravely ill." As soon as the maid went upstairs, the wife went in, saying to her husband, "Let us leave the hunchback here and run."
Okay.
The tailor propped up the hunchback, leaving him standing in the middle of the Jew's staircase, and went away with his wife.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the maid went to the Jew and said to him, "Master, there are people downstairs carrying a sick child, and they have sent you this quarter dinar to go down to see him and prescribe for him." When the Jew saw this quarter dinar as a fee for merely going downstairs, he was pleased, and in his joy rose hastily in the dark, saying to the maid,
"It's a dead guy."
"Bring me the light," and descended hurriedly in the dark. But hardly had he taken a step when he stumbled on the hunchback, who fell and rolled to the bottom of the stairs.
No.
The Jew was startled and shouted to the maid, "Hurry with the light." When she brought it, he went down and, finding the hunchback dead, said, "O Esdras, O Moses, O Aaron, O Joshua, son of Nun, it seems that I have stumbled against this sick fellow, and he has fallen downstairs and died. By the hoof of Esdras' ass, how shall I get this dead body out of my house?" You're a doctor. Okay. Then he carried the body upstairs, and when he told his wife about it, she said to him, "Why do you sit still? If the day breaks and he is still here, we will both lose our lives. You are naive and careless." Then she recited the following verses. "You thought well of the days when they were good, oblivious to the ills life brings to one. You were deluded by the peaceful nights, yet in the peace of night does sorrow stun."
Thank you, wife.
Great commentary. "Nope, we didn't just commit murder because of a joke." And then the return of the Jew. But morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Then Dinarzad said, "Sister, what a strange and entertaining story." Shahrazad replied, "What is this compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night? If the king spares me, let me live." 105th night. The following night, Shahrazad said, "I heard, O king, that the Jew's wife said to him, 'Why do you sit still? Rise at once and let us carry the body to the roof and throw it into the house of our neighbor, the Muslim bachelor.' And happened that the Jew's neighbor was the steward of the king's kitchen, who used to bring home a great deal of cooking butter, which, together with everything else he brought, was eaten by the cats and mice, which caused considerable loss. The Jew and his wife took the hunchback up to the roof, carried him little by little to the steward's house, and, holding him by the hands and feet, lowered him until he reached the ground. Then they propped him up against the wall and went away. I'm kind of worried that another thing is going to be foreshadowing. No sooner had they descended from the roof than the steward, who had been at the recitation of the Quran, came home in the middle of the night carrying a lighted candle. He opened the door, and when he entered his house, he found a man standing in the corner under the ventilator and said, "By God, this is a fine thing. My food has been stolen by none other than a man. You kept taking the meat and the fat sheep tails and scooping out the cooking butter, and I kept blaming the cats and dogs and mice. I have killed many cats and dogs and have sinned against them, while you have been coming down the wind shaft to steal my provisions. But now, by God, I will avenge myself on you with my own hands." Then he took a heavy club, and with one leap stood before the hunchback and gave him a heavy blow on the rib cage. And as the hunchback fell, gave him another blow on the back. Then, looking at his face and seeing that he was dead, he cried out, saying, "Alas, I have killed him!
I have killed him!
There is no power and no strength save in God, the Almighty, the Magnificent." Then he turned pale with fear for himself, saying, "May God curse the cooking butter and curse this night. To God we belong, and to him we return." But morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Then Dunazad said to her sister, "What a strange and entertaining story." Shahrazad replied, "What is this compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night, if the king spares me and lets me live?" The 106th night. Shahrazad said, "It's related, O happy king, that when the steward saw the man was a hunchback, he said, 'O hunchback, O cursed man, wasn't it enough for you to be a hunchback, but you had to turn thief too?
Oh.
What shall I do? O protector, protect me!' Then, as it was getting toward the end of the night, he carried the hunchback on his back and went out with him until he reached the entrance of the market, where he set him on his feet against a shop at the corner of a dark alley,
It's like
and went away."
Looking at Bernie's, is that the one where they keep moving the corpse around?
Yeah, but I think it's the same people who have the body the whole time.
This is just more like playing hot potato with a dead guy.
Yeah. Greg says, so they're playing keep away or nodded with the dead body. Yes, that is what they're doing.
Okay.
Okay. Soon, there came a prominent Christian tradesman who had a workshop and was the king's broker. He was drunk, and in his drunkenness, he had left home, heading for the bath, thinking that morning prayers were near. He came staggering along until he drew near the hunchback and squatted in front of him to urinate.
No.
And, happening to look around, suddenly saw a man standing before him. It so happened that early that night, someone had snatched off the Christian's turban, so that when he saw the hunchback standing before him, he thought that he too was going to snatch off his turban. He clenched his fist and boxed the hunchback on the neck, knocking him down.
Everybody's just stealing my turban today.
Then, crying out for the watchman, he fell in his drunkenness on the hunchback, pummeling him and choking him.
No.
When the watchman came up to the lamppost and saw a Christian kneeling on a Muslim and beating him, he asked, "What is the matter?" The Christian replied, "This man tried to snatch off my turban." The watchman said, "Get up from him." And when the Christian got up, the watchman drew close to the hunchback and, finding that he was dead, said, "By God, this is a fine thing, a Christian killing a Muslim." Then he seized the Christian broker, bound him, and brought him in the night to the house of the chief of police. The Christian was bewildered, wondering how he could have killed the fellow so quickly with one blow of the fist, as drunkenness left him and reflection returned. Then he and the hunchback passed the night in the chief's house. In the morning, the chief went up to the king and informed him that the Christian broker had killed a Muslim. The king ordered that the broker be hanged, and the chief went down and bade the executioner proclaim the sentence. When the hangman set up the gallows, under which he made the Christian stand, put the rope around his neck, and was about to hang him, when the steward of the king's kitchen made his way through the crowd and said to the executioner, "Stop! This man did not kill the fellow. I am the one who killed him." The chief asked, "What did you say?" The steward replied, "I am the one who killed him." Then he related to him his story, how he hit the hunchback with the club, and how he carried him and propped him up in the market, adding, "Is it not enough for me to have killed a Muslim without burdening my conscience with the death of a Christian too? On my own confession, hang no one but me." But morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Then Dinazad said to her sister, "What a strange and entertaining story." Shahrazad replied, "What is this, compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night, if the king spares me and lets me live?" 107th night, got a little weird there. The following night, Shahrazad said,
"Someone's in here."
"I heard, O happy king, that when the chief heard the steward's words, he said to the hangman, 'Release the Christian, and hang this man on the strength of his confession.'"
Aww.
The hangman, after releasing the Christian, made the steward stand on the gallows, put the rope around his neck, and was about to hang him, when the Jewish physician made his way through the crowd and cried out to the hangman, "Stop! This man did not kill the fellow. I am the one who killed him. Last night I was sitting at home after the markets closed when a man and a woman knocked at the door. When the maid went down and opened the door, she found that they had a sick person with them. They gave the maid a quarter dinar, and she brought it up to me and told me about them. But no sooner had she come up than they rushed in and placed the sick person at the top of the stairs. When I went down, I stumbled on him, and the two of us rolled to the bottom of the stairs, and he died instantly. No one was the cause of his death but I. Then my wife and I carried the dead hunchback to the roof and let him down, through the wind shaft into the house of the steward, which adjoins ours, and left him standing in the corner. When the steward came home, he found a man standing there, and thinking he was a thief, hit him with a club, knocking him down flat on his face, and concluded that he had killed him, whereas in truth none had killed him but I. Is it not enough for me to have involuntarily and unwillingly killed one Muslim without burdening my conscience with the death of another Muslim? Don't hang him, for no one killed the hunchback but I." Good morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Dinazad said to her sister, "What a strange and entertaining story." Shahrazad replied, "What is this, compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night, if the king spares me and lets me live?" The 108th night. The following night, Shahrazad said, "I heard, O happy king, that when the chief heard the Jew's words, he said to the hangman, 'Release the steward and hang the Jew.' The hangman seized the Jew and put the rope around his neck. When the tailor made his way through the crowd and said to the hangman, 'Stop! This man did not kill him, and none killed him but I.' Then, turning to the chief, he said, 'My lord, none killed the hunchback but I. Yesterday I went out to see the sights, and when I returned in the evening I met the hunchback, who was drunk and singing and playing on the tambourine. I invited him home with me, and then went out, bought some fried fish for him, and brought it back. When we sat to eat, I took a fish and crammed it down his throat, and he choked on a bone and died instantly. My wife and I were frightened, and we carried him to the Jew's house. We knocked at the door, and when the maid came down and opened the door, I said to her, 'Go up and tell your master that there are a man and a woman downstairs with a sick person for him to see,' handing her a quarter dinar to give to her master. As soon as she went up, I carried the hunchback to the top of the stairs, propped him up, and went down and ran with my wife. When the Jew came down, he stumbled against the hunchback and thought that he had killed him. And the tailor turned to the Jew and asked, 'Isn't this the truth?' The Jew replied, 'Yes, this is the truth.' Then, turning back to the chief, the tailor said, 'Release the Jew and hang me, since I am the one who killed the hunchback.' When the chief heard the tailor's words, he marveled at the adventure of the hunchback and said, 'There is a mystery behind this story, and it should be recorded in the books, even in letters of gold.'
Okay.
Then he said to the hangman, 'Release the Jew and hang the tailor on his own confession.' The hangman released the Jew and placed the tailor under the gallows, saying to the chief, 'I am tired of stringing up this man and releasing that without any result.' Then he pulled the rope and the tailor's neck. Put the rope around the tailor's neck and threw the other end over the pulley. It happened that the hunchback was the favorite clown of the king of China, who could not bear to be without him even for the batting of an eye. So that when the hunchback got drunk and failed to make his appearance that night, morning overtook Shahrazad. And she lapsed into silence.
Where's all this lines? God damn it. Whatever. I don't think
Layers?
Yeah, I don't think I hit anything important, though. No, I didn't. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Greg says, at the rate this is going, the Hunchback's ghost will show up and said he killed himself.
Might be.
What a strange and entertaining story. What is this compared to what I shall tell you tomorrow night if the king spares me and lets me live? And on that 109th night, Shahrazad said, I heard, O happy king, that when the hunchback got drunk and failed to make his appearance before the king that night, and when the king waited for him in vain the next day until it was close to noon, he at last inquired about him from one of those present. He replied, I heard, O king, that the chief of police found a dead hunchback and caught his murderer. But when he was about to hang him, a second and a third man came forward, and each claimed to be the murderer. They are still there, each telling the chief how the hunchback died.
Okay.
When the king of China heard these words, he called out to one of his chamberlains, saying, Go down and bring me everyone, the chief, the murdered man, and the murderers. The chamberlain went down at once and arrived just when the hangman had put the rope around the tailor's neck and was about to hoist him up. He cried out to the hangman, Stop!
Stop!
And turning to the chief, relayed to him the king's order. The chief took the tailor, the Jew, the steward, and the Christian together with the hunchback, carried on a litter, and brought them all before the king. He kissed the ground before him and related to him their adventures with the hunchback from beginning to end. When the king of China heard the story, he was very much amazed and moved to mirth, and he ordered that the story be recorded, saying to those around him,
I don't remember.
Have you heard anything more amazing than the adventures of the hunchback? The Christian broker came forward and, kissing the ground before him, said, O king of the age, with your leave, I will tell you a more amazing story that happened to myself, a story that will make even the stone weep. The king replied, Tell us your story. The Christian said, The Christian broker's tale, the young man with the severed hand, and the girl. O king, I came as a stranger to your country, bringing merchandise with me, and I was fated to stay here these many years. I was born a Copt, an Egyptian Christian, a native of Cairo. My father was a prominent broker, and when he died, I became a broker in his place and worked there for many years. One day, as I was sitting in the market of the fodder merchants in Cairo, a handsome and finely dressed young man, riding a tall ass, came to me. He saluted me, and I rose in salute. Then he took out a handkerchief containing sesame and asked me, How much is the measure worth? But morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Then Shahrazad said, Sister, what a strange and entertaining story. Shahrazad replied, What is this compared to what I shall tell you tomorrow night? If the king spares me and lets me live. 110th night, the following night, Shahrazad said, I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker said to the king of China, O king of the age, I replied to the man, It is worth 100 dirhams. He said, Take a measure with some porters, and come to Al-Jawi Caravanserai, which is an inn with a large courtyard where caravans could rest during the night. Caravanserai. That's a cool word.
That's pretty cool.
By the gate of victory, where you will find me. I rose and went to find a buyer, making the rounds of the sesame merchants, confectioners, and fodder dealers, and got 100 dirhams per measure. When I took with me 4 teams of porters and went with them to the Al-Jawi Caravanserai, where I found the young man waiting for me. As soon as he saw me, he rose and led me to the storeroom, saying, Let the measurer enter to measure, while the porters load the donkeys. The porters kept loading, one team coming and one team going, until they emptied the storeroom, carrying 50 measures in all, costing 5,000 dirhams. Then the young man said to me, Take 10 dirhams per measure for your brokerage, and keep my share of 4,500 dirhams with you. When I finish selling the rest of my crop, I will come to you and take the money. I replied, Very well, kissed his hand, and departed, surprised at his liberality. For the month, I sat waiting for him until he finally came and asked, "Where is the money?" I welcomed him and invited him to sit with me and have something to eat, but he refused and said, "Go and get the money, and in a little while I will come back and take it from you." Then he departed on assback, while I went and brought the money and sat waiting for him. But again he did not show up for a month, and I said to myself, "This is indeed a liberal young man. He has left 4,500 dirhams of his money with me for 2 full months without coming to take it." At last he came back, riding an ass, dressed on fine clothes, and looking as if he had just come from the bath. But morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Dinazad said, "Sister, what a strange and entertaining story." And Shahrazad said, "What is this compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night, if the king spares me and lets me live?" The 111th night. The following night, Shahrazad said, "I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker said to the king of China, the young man looked as if he had just come up from the bath. When I saw him, I left the shop and went up to him, saying, 'Sir, will you take your money back?' He replied, 'What is the hurry?
Never.
Wait until I sell the rest of my crop. Then I will take it from you next week.' When he left, I said to myself, 'When he comes back next time, I will invite him to eat with me.' He was absent for the rest of the year,
Oh my
during
God.
which I used his money, trading with it and making a great deal of profit. And at the end of the year, he came back again, dressed in fine clothes. When I saw him, I went up to him and swore by the New Testament that he must eat with me as my guest. He agreed, saying, 'On condition that what you spend on me will be from my own money.'
Well, technically.
I replied, 'Very well.' Then I went in, prepared the place for him, and seated him. Then I went to the market, and getting enough beverages, stuffed chickens and sweets, set them before him, saying, 'Please help yourself.' He came to the table and began to eat with his left hand. Consider the lapse in manners, since the left hand is used for toilet hygiene.
Oh. Okay.
I said to myself, 'Only God is perfect. Here is a young man who is handsome and respectful, yet so conceited that he does not bother to use his right hand in eating with me. But I ate with him.' When morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Dinazad said, 'What a strange and entertaining story!' Shahrazad replied, 'What is this compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night, if the king spares me and lets me live?' 112th. The following night, Shahrazad said, 'I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker said to the king of China, when we finished eating, I poured water on his hand and gave him something to wipe it with. And after I offered him some sweets, we sat to chat. I asked him, 'Sir, relieve my mind by telling me why you ate with your left hand. Does something ail your right hand?' When the young man heard my question, he wept and recited the following verses.
I have no right hand.
'If Layla I have for Selma exchanged, 'twas not at all but by necessity.' Layla, the beloved cousin of the Arab poet Kays, known as Majnun, who went mad because of his unrequited love for her. She is a legendary figure in Arabic and Persian poetry and art.
Let's see.
References.
References.
Then he drew his right arm from his bosom and showed it to me. It was a stump, with his hand cut off at the wrist. I was astonished at this, and he said to me, 'Don't wonder and say to yourself that I am conceited, and have eaten with my left hand out of conceit. There is a strange story behind the cutting off of my hand.'
Would you like to hear it and take up another 20 pages?
Yeah. I asked, 'How came it to be cut off?'
Oh,
Sighing
shit.
and weeping, he said, 'I was a native of Baghdad, and the son of one of the most prominent men. When I reached manhood, I heard travelers and other people tell me of the land of Egypt, and it stayed in my mind. When my father died and I inherited his business, I prepared a load of merchandise, taking with me all kinds of fabrics of Baghdad and Mosul, including 1,000 silk cloaks. Then I left Baghdad and journeyed until I reached Egypt. When I encountered Cairo, I unloaded at the Masrur caravanserai, where I unpacked the goods and stored them in the storerooms. Then I gave one of my servants money to prepare some food, and after I and my servants ate, and I took rest. I went out for a long walk along Bayn al-Khazrain Street, and then came back and slept. When I arose, I opened the bales of fabric and said to myself, I will go to some good market and find out the prices. I took samples and giving them to one of my servants to carry, put on my finest clothes and walked out until I came to the Jurges market. When I entered, I was met by the brokers, who had already heard of my arrival. They took my fabrics and auctioned them, but the pieces failed to fetch even their cost. I was vexed and said to the brokers, my pieces did not even fetch their cost. But they replied, Sir, we can tell you how you can make a profit without risk.
Give all your money to a dude and he will... No.
For those lost, this is now the man telling the Christian broker who is telling the king of China, which is being told by Shahrazad. But morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. And Dunan said, Sister, what a strange and entertaining story. And what is this compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night if the king spares me and lets me live? The 113th night.
Nothing. You're just your dork.
The following night, Shahrazad said, I heard, O happy king, that the Christian told the king of China that the young man said, the brokers said...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this is the brokers telling the young man... No, I'm not even worried.
Don't worry about it. Just keep reading.
The broker said, we can tell you how to make a profit without risk. You should do what the other merchants do and sell your goods on credit for a fixed period on a contract drawn by a scribe and duly witnessed. Employ a money changer and collect your money every Monday and Thursday. In this way, you will make a profit while you spend your own time enjoying the sights of Cairo and the Nile.
Okay.
I said, this is a good idea, and took the brokers and the porters with me to the caravansary, where I took out the bales of fabric, and they carried them and went with me to the market, where I sold them on credit on a written and duly witnessed contract, which I left with the banker. Then I left the market and returned to the caravansary.
What a lovely caravansary it is.
I lived there, breakfasting every morning on a cup of wine, mutton, pigeons, and sweets, until a month went by, and the time came when my receipts began to fall due. Then I began to go to the market every Monday and Thursday, and sit in the shop of one or other of the merchants, while the scribe and money changer went around to collect the money till past the afternoon prayer. And they would bring it, and I would count it and give them a receipt for it, and take it and return to the caravansary. Aha, how marvelous the doing of business is. I did this for 6 days until one day, which happened to be a Monday, I went early to the bath. When I came out, I put on nice clothes and returned to my place in the caravansary, where I breakfasted on a cup of wine and then went to sleep. Then I arose, ate a boiled chicken, and perfuming myself, went to the market and sat at the shop of a merchant called Badr al-Din al-Bustani. We sat chatting for a while, when a lady wearing a cloak and a magnificent headcloth and exhaling perfume came up to the shop, and her beauty at once captured my heart.
Oh no.
She saluted Badr al-Din, raising her upper veil and revealing a pair of large black eyes that she was holding in her mouth.
No.
He welcomed her and stood talking with her, and when I heard her speech, the love of her got hold of my heart, and I felt a sense of foreboding. Then she asked him, do you have a piece of silk fabric with hunting scenes? He showed her one of the pieces he had gotten from me, and she bought it for 1,200 dirhams. Then she said to him, with your permission, I will take it with me and send you the money next market day. He replied, this is not possible, my lady, for this gentleman is the owner of the piece, and I have to pay him for it today. She said, shame on you! Haven't I been buying much from you at whatever profit you wish? taking the fabric from you and sending you money back afterwards? Badr al-Din replied, yes, indeed, but this time I need the money today. She threw the piece of fabric back into the shop and said angrily, your merchants don't respect anyone. May God blight you all.
Oh, man.
Then she turned to go. But morning overtook Shahrazad and she lapsed into silence.
Merchants don't play by the rules.
Pretty specific rules of playing by.
No, I think it's more of the customers have always been stupid ever since before customer service was a thing. Just customers, they are always bad.
No, they're just a
vocal
minority that ruins it for everybody else.
That vocal minority just does not understand how the selling of goods works.
Yep. But morning overtook Shahrazad and she lapsed into silence. I already said that. Other stuff happened. What a strange and entertaining story. What is this compared to with the fat pizza lay down? The 114th night.
Oh,
oh, is it overlapping stuff?
Some stuff. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Shh.
I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker told the king of China that the young man said, when she threw the piece of fabric back into the shop and turned to go, I felt as if my soul was going with her and cried out to her, for God's sake, lady, do me a favor and come back. She turned back, saying with a smile, I'm coming back for your sake, and sat in the shop facing me.
Is that how you flirt? You cause a scene in front of
I don't know.
I'm drawing really dumb eyelashes. I'll probably delete these eyelashes, but I just kind of... My timer's got like 15 minutes on it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to get to a stopping point.
We'll just read till...
There's like a stopping point every 100 pages.
I know. I mean, like, yeah. How far until the end of the night? I guess it's probably just a couple pages, right?
I mean, this night ends literally the next page.
Oh, well, we won't end this night, but...
Oh, nice. I think they all tell tales, because the steward's tale is the night's main story. That's in 10 pages. Let's see if we can make it there.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I mean, if we could finish this one guy's dumb story, then...
Yeah, it's only 10 more pages.
What a dummy. What a dummy with his dumb story. Continue, please.
I am coming back for your sake. And sat in the shop facing me. I asked Badr al-Din, Sir, what was the price we set for this piece of fabric? He replied, 1,200 dirhams. I said, I will give you 100 dirhams as a profit for it. Give me a piece of paper, and I will write you a discharge. I wrote him a discharge, took the piece of fabric, and gave it to the lady, saying to her, take it, my lady, and if you wish, bring me the money next market day, or better yet, accept it as a present from me to you. She replied, may God reward you and grant you a larger share of riches and a longer life than mine.
Oh my gosh.
And the gates of heaven opened and received Cairo's prayers. I said to her, my lady, this piece of fabric is yours, and God willing, many like it. Only let me see your face.
Let me see your beautiful face.
She turned her head and lifted her veil.
And it was
ugly. When I took one look, I sighed and lost my senses. Then she let down the veil and, taking the piece of fabric, said, I miss you, and departed. While I remained in the shop till past the afternoon prayer, lost in another world. When I asked Badr al-Din about the girl, he said, she is a lady of wealth, the daughter of a prince who died and left her a great fortune. Then I took my leave of him and went to the caravanserai, still thinking of her, and when they set supper before me, I could not eat, and when I lay down, I could not sleep, but lay awake till dawn. Then I rose, changed my clothes, and swallowing something for breakfast, hurried to Badr al-Din's shop. But morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Dinarad said, "Sister, what a strange and entertaining story." Shahrazad replied, "What is this compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night, if the king spares me and lets me live?" The 115th night. The following night Shahrazad said, "I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker told the king of China that the young man said, 'Hardly had I been in Badr al-Din's shop, when the lady came up, followed by a maid, and more richly dressed than before. She greeted me instead of Badr al-Din, and said to me, 'Sir, let someone receive the money.' I said, 'What is the hurry for the money?' She replied, 'My dear, may I never lose you,' and handed me the money. Then we sat talking, and I dropped some hints, by which she understood that I desired to have an affair with her.
Oh.
She rose hastily and went away, taking my heart with her.
Dude.
I left the shop and walked in the market, when suddenly a black maid came up to me and said, 'My lord, my lady wishes to speak with you.' I was surprised and said, 'No one knows me here.'
Who is
She
your
said-
lady? Is she hot?
She said, 'My lord, how soon you seem to have forgotten her. My lady is the one who was in the merchant shops today.'
This very day. My very cute. 340 on the ground.
I walked with her until we came to the lane of the money changers. And when the lady saw me, she drew me aside and said to me, 'My dear, you have found a place in my heart, and from the day I first laid eyes on you, I have been unable to eat and drink.' I replied, 'Bitch, that's how you die.'
No.
I replied, 'I feel the same. My condition
You
speaks for my
asshole.
plight.' She asked, 'My dear, your place or mine?' Literally, okay, yeah, that's
Really?
that's not me
Oh man.
making that up. It's literally, that's what the text says. She asked,
Your
"My
pl-
dear, your place or mine?"
Your place or mine. An
I
age-old piece of wisdom, always been used.
Yeah. I want a quote that's like, "My dear, your place or mine," with like the quote credit being
Arabian
proverb.
Nights, yeah.
Yeah. I replied, "I am a stranger here and have no lodging but the caravanserai." Morning overtook
What is goddamn
Shahrazad.
caravanserai?
What?
Why is everybody at the caravanserai?
Not everybody's at the caravanserai.
Isn't that where? Oh,
this
is that
dude
where
is.
he is? Okay.
Yeah.
So it was his place then. I thought she was saying.
Yeah,
his
the
place.
caravanserai is an inn that is large enough to house an entire caravan.
Right.
And it has storerooms and stuff.
Got
so
it.
that's where.
Hello, cat. Jumping up behind me. Whoop.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay.
All right, 116th night. It's related, O happy king, that the Christian broker told the king of China that the young man said, "I have no lodging but the caravanserai. Do me a favor and let me come to your place." She replied, "Very well, my lord. Tonight is Friday night."
Friday.
Yeah,
Friday. Gotta get down Friday.
And nothing can be done.
Nothing can be done.
But tomorrow, after you perform the morning prayer, ride an ass, and ask for the house of the Syndic Barkut Abu Shama in the Habinaya quarter, and do not delay, for I will be waiting for you.
Oh,
I said, "Very well," and I bade her goodbye. A syndic is a representative of a guild or corporation.
I see.
I waited impatiently for morning, and as soon as it was daylight, I arose, put on my clothes, and perfumed myself.
Delicious.
Then I took 50 dinars and a handkerchief and walked away from the Mazur caravanserai to the Zuwala gate, where I hired an ass, bidding the driver take me to the Habaniya quarter. He set off with me, and in no time brought me to the side street called Al-Taqwa Lane. I bade him go in and inquire about the house of the Syndic Barkut, known as Abu Shama.
This is where I have screwed myself over because I made a fancy pattern on our undies last time. I don't remember what that pattern was. I doubt anybody else will.
You
so
literally look it up.
I could,
Like,
but
it exists on the internet.
I'm too lazy. Done. Finished. Whatever.
Okay, so it's not like I can't even look at it.
No.
Maybe she has different undies.
Maybe she's just got a million different red undies.
Yeah, I mean that's totally possible.
It's totally possible.
Do you want me to look it up?
No. You're a caravanserai.
And he disappeared and soon returned and said, "Very well, dismount." I dismounted and said to him, "Guide me to the house, so that you can find it when you return tomorrow and take me back to the Masrur caravanserai."
What did he stick the name? That's what I want to know.
He took me to the house, and I gave him a quarter dinar and bade him go. I knocked at the gate, and there came out 2 white little maids who said, "Please come in, for our mistress, being overjoyed with you, was unable to sleep last night."
Just like Christmas.
I walked through the hallway and came to a hall, raised 7 steps above the ground and surrounded by windows, overlooking a garden that delighted the eye with running streams and all kinds of fruits and birds. In the middle of the hall there was a square fountain, at whose corner stood 4 snakes made of red gold, spouting water as if it were jewels and pearls. Morning overtook Shahrazad, and on the 117th night she said, "I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker told the king of China that the young man said." I entered the hall, and hardly had I sat down when the lady came up to me, bedecked in fine clothes and ornaments, with a diadem on her head. Her face was made up, and her eyes were penciled.
Diadem? Oh shit, you were Ravina Ravenclaw? Diadem. Oh, hello, timer. Apparently it's time up, but we'll finish this night.
Yep.
I'm so close to being done with these stupid panties, too.
Oh, we can just finish the story, because there's only like 5 pages left.
Oh,
5
yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
I was going to say I'll try not to read so slowly, but that's not a problem.
Whatever, sure.
When she saw me, she smiled at me, pressed me hard to her bosom, and setting her mouth to mine, sucked my tongue.
Oh.
And I did likewise. Then she said, "Can it be true, my little lord, that you have indeed come to me?" I replied, "Yes, I am with you, and I am your slave." She said, "By God, since I first saw you, I have enjoyed neither food nor sleep." I said, "I have felt the same." Then we sat down to converse, while I kept my head bowed. Soon she set before me a tray with the most sumptuous dishes, such as ragout, fricassee, fritters soaked in honey, and chicken stuffed with sugar and pistachio nuts. I'm not sure about that last one. And we ate until we were satisfied. Then the servants removed the tray, and after we washed our hands and they sprinkled them with rose water scented with musk, we sat down to converse. My love for her took such hold of me that all my wealth seemed little to me in comparison with her. We passed the time in dalliance till nightfall, when the servants set before us a banquet of food and wine, and we sat drinking until midnight. Then we went to bed, and I lay with her till the morning, having never spent a better night. When it was day, I arose, and slipping under the mattress the handkerchief containing the 50 dinars, took my leave of her. She wept and asked, "My lord, when shall I see you again?"
Never.
I replied, "I will be with you this evening." She saw me to the door and said, "My lord, bring our supper with you." When I stepped out, I found the driver with whom I had ridden the previous day waiting for me, and I mounted and he drove the ass to the caravanserai. I dismounted but did not pay him, saying, "Come back for me at sunset," and he replied, "Very well," and went away. After I had a little breakfast, I went out to collect the money from the sale of the merchandise. In the meantime, I ordered a roasted lamb on the bed of rice, as well as some sweets, and, giving a porter directions to the lady's house, sent the food to her. Thus I occupied myself with the business to the end of the day, and when at sunset the driver came for me, I took 50 dinars and a handkerchief, adding 2 quarter dinars, and rode the ass, spurring it until in no time I reached the lady's house. I dismounted and gave the driver half a dinar. Then I entered and found that the house was better prepared than ever. When she saw me, she kissed me and said, I have missed you all day long. Then the servant set the table, and we ate until we were satisfied. Then they brought us wine, and we drank until midnight. Then we went to the bedroom and lay together till daylight. When I arose, I left with her the 50 dinars and the handkerchief and went out, finding the driver waiting. I rode to the caravanserai where I slept for a while. Then I went out and bought from a delicatessen a pair of homegrown geese on 2 platters of peppered rice. I also bought colocasia roots, fried and soaked in honey, fruits and nuts, as well as aromatic herbs and candles, and sent them all with the porter to our house. Then I waited impatiently till nightfall, when I again took 50 dinars and a handkerchief and rode with the driver to the house. Again she and I conversed, ate, and lay together, and when I arose in the morning, I again left the handkerchief with her, and rode back with the driver to the Masr caravanserai.
At the end of the story, or at the end of the night?
Morning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. What is this compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night, on the 118th night, in which I will say, I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker told the king of China that the young man said, I continued like this, eating and drinking and giving her 50 dinars every night, until one day I found myself penniless.
Why is he giving her 50 dinars every night?
I don't know.
Just for the hell of it? She's already rich. I mean, why? Why are you doing that, dude?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because of love.
Love, it makes you stupid. She take my money.
Not knowing where to find money and saying to myself, there is no power, no strength, save in God the Almighty the Magnificent. This is Satan's doing.
What? No, it's you being a dumbass.
Satan gave all my money to this lady that I love.
Oh, asshole. Shit.
I left my lodging at the caravanserai and walked along Bain al-Quadran Street until I came to the Zuwayla gate, where it was so crowded that the gate was blocked with people.
What is that man doing? He's playing with his bag, wrestling a bag. Oh, those trees. So dumb.
I have to make sure he doesn't eat it.
Because he's dumb.
As it had been foreordained, I found myself pressed against a soldier, so that my hand came upon his breast pocket, and I felt a purse inside. I looked, and seeing a green tassel hanging from the pocket, realized that it was attached to the purse. The crush grew greater every moment, and just then a camel bearing a load of wood jostled the soldier on the other side, and he turned to ward it off from him, lest it should tear his clothes. And Satan tempted me, and I pulled the tassel and drew out a little blue silk purse with something clinking inside. Hardly had I held the purse in my hand when the soldier felt something and, touching his pocket with his hand, found it empty. He turned to me and, raising his mace, struck me with it on the head.
You dumbass.
I fell to the ground while the people gathered around us and, holding the soldier back, asked him,
Why you
Is
hit
it
that
because
guy?
he pushed you and you struck him with such a blow? But he shouted at them with curses and said, This fellow is a thief! At that moment I came to myself, got up, and the people looked at me and said, This nice young man would not steal anything. Some believed him while others did not, and after much debate some of them were about to rescue me from him, and the chief of police and the captain and the watchman entered through the gate and saw the crowd gathered around me and the soldier. The chief asked, What's the matter?
What's the matter?
And they told him what had happened, and the soldier said, He stole from my pocket a blue silk purse containing 20 dinars. The chief asked him, Was there anyone else with him? And the soldier replied, No.
No.
And then the chief cried out to the captain, bidding him seize me. Then he said, Strip him naked.
We'll
And
find
they
that 20
did
dinar.
so, and found the purse hidden in my clothes, and I fell into a swoon. When the chief saw the purse, mourning overtook Shahrazad, and she lapsed into silence. Then Dinarzad said, Sister, what a strange and entertaining story. Shahrazad replied, What is this compared with what I shall tell you tomorrow night if the king spares me and lets me live? You notice, like, in the first 50 or 60 or so nights, they change that up every now and then.
Yeah.
But, like,
now it's
just the same one. Oh, excuse me. 119th night.
How about this color?
Yeah, it's kind of it's not a pleasant brown.
It's kind of a bad brown.
It's a little too muted, I guess. I don't know. It could be richer and more chocolatey.
Bad?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm bad at painting walls. I don't ever know what they should be colored.
All of the same color as chocolate.
What? Wall is the same color as chocolate?
Walls?
Yeah, I know. People paint their walls brown some of the time, like really nice chocolatey brown, like coffee brown. Oh, my brother's got purple walls, but I don't know what looks normal. I don't feel like I should have, like, I don't know, wallpaper or something? Because like, our walls are just white.
Yeah, most people don't have wallpaper. It's kind of like a house. That's kind of like a 70s thing.
Well, I guess if it's shitty wallpaper,
yeah.
But
I thought it was really cool when my dad renovated his house. He took out a wall.
Wallpaper for the ages.
Yeah, and there was like 3 layers worth of wallpaper where they just wallpapered over it, and it was great because you could see, like, this is the wallpaper from the 80s, this is from the 70s, and this was from the 60s. I think it was like 70s, 60s, 50s.
Yeah. Because the 50s was classy looking.
I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker told the king of China that the young man said.
No, it's too dark. Man, I don't know.
I don't want mine to be dark. You don't even want some dark, otherwise you don't.
I'm gonna have to put some darker lines on here. I tried that coloring with line colors again. It just needs to be a little bit darker. But I can always do that in Photoshop as opposed to in here. Much easier. Right? Darkening that color.
Yeah, probably.
Alright, anyway, you keep going.
Slap a burn on there.
You burn. Sick burn. Woo! Perfect.
I want to do a rap battle with Photoshop puns.
That'd be pretty great.
I'm lining my feet because I just dodge tooled you.
Oh shit! Dang, you.
No, don't. When the chief saw the purse, he seized it and took out the gold coins. And when he counted, he found 20 dinars.
Good for him. Oh wait, that was bad, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was good for the chief, good for the soldier, bad for the
bad for the guy that stole it.
Hey, I bet this is how he loses his hand.
Oh shit! I bet they're gonna cut off his hand.
I don't get how this story is weirder or stranger or would make rocks weep. It was essentially a guy who's really in love, did dumb stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that's the story of romance, though.
That it makes men crazy.
Is in love, does stupid stuff. The end.
Yeah.
Gets hand cut off. He was angry and yelling at the officers to bring me before him, said to me, "Young man, there is no need to force it out of you if you tell me the truth. Did you steal this purse?" I bowed my head and said to myself, "I cannot deny it, for they found the purse in my clothes, but if I confess, I'll be in trouble." At last I raised my head and said, "Yes, I took it." When the chief heard my words, he called for witnesses, and they attested my confession. All of this took place at the Zuwalya gate. Then he summoned the executioner, who cut off my right hand, and he would have bidden him cut off my foot too, but as the people said to him, "This is a pitiful young man." And as I employed the soldier, who finally took pity on me and interceded for me with him, the chief left me and went away, while the people remained around me and gave me a cup of wine to drink. As for the soldier, he gave me the purse, saying, "You are a nice young man, and it does not become you to be a thief."
Oh.
Then he left me and went away.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, ask,
Yeah, I guess.
Greg says he lives in an old person home and they have cheap wooden wallpaper. Given how many wallpaper colors there are out there, you can really go with anything. Yeah, you can paint some. There's another like people don't tend to paint all the walls of a room in dark colors because
like
it's super dark.
2 out of 1 out of 2.
Yeah, you have like an accent wall of dark.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter because you can have that. Maybe it's just her like chocolate wall room. And it doesn't need to be. She doesn't only read in it, so she doesn't need abundant light.
It's just for beds where you sleep in them and take your clothes off. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean. Was that the end of the
You were playing so much? No, I just stopped reading arbitrarily.
Okay.
I wrapped my hand in a rag, thrust it into my bosom, and walked until I reached my mistress's house and threw myself on the bed. When she saw that I was pale from the bleeding, she asked, "My darling, what ails you?" I replied, "I have a headache." Worried about me, she said, "Sit up and tell me what has happened to you today, for it is written on your face."
If it's written on your face, why are you asking?
Well, she's not a mind reader. She's just a face reader.
Doesn't read very well, I guess. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, I wept without reply. She said, "It seems as if you are tired of me. Oh. For God's sake, tell me what is the matter with you." But even though I kept silent and did not reply, she continued to talk to me till nightfall. Then she brought me food, but I refused it for fear she would see me eat with my left hand. And I said to her, "I don't care to eat anything." Again she asked, "Tell me what happened to you today. What is troubling you?" I said, "Must I tell you?" Then she gave me wine to drink, saying, "Drink it, for it will make you feel better and help you tell me what happened." I replied, "If I must, then give me the wine." She drank, gave me the cup, and I took it with my left hand. But morning overtook Shahrazad and she lapsed into silence. The following night, 120th, Shahrazad said, "I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker told the king of China that the young man said, 'When she gave me the cup, I took it with my left hand with tears in my eyes.' She let out a loud cry and said, 'My lord, why do you weep? Why do you hold the cup with your left hand?' I replied, 'I have a boil on my right hand.' She said, 'Put it out, and I will lance it for you.' True love. I replied, 'It is not ready yet.' She kept forcing me to drink until I got drunk. It is not ready yet. And fell asleep. Then she examined my right arm and found it a wrist without a hand. And when she searched me and found a purse with my severed hand wrapped in a handkerchief, she grieved for me and lamented till the morning." I didn't realize he got his hand back. Okay. "When I awoke, I found that she had made me a dish of broth of 5 boiled chickens. Delicious. And after I ate some and drank a cup of wine, I laid down the purse and was about to go out, when she said to me, 'Where are you going? Sit down.' Then she added, 'Has your love for me been so great that you have spent all your substance on me until you have lost even your hand? I pledge to you that I will die nowhere but at your feet, and you shall soon see the truth of my words.' Then she sent for witnesses and drew up a marriage contract, saying, 'Write down that everything I own belongs to this young man.' After she paid the witnesses their fee, she took me by the hand and, leading me to a chest, said to me, 'Look at all these handkerchiefs inside. They contain all the money you brought me. Take your money back, for I can never reward you enough for your precious and dear self.' Repeating, 'Take your money.' I locked the money in the chest.
Also, I'm not a prostitute, too. Don't leave me 50 goddamn dinar every night."
Yeah, right? He wasn't paying for sex.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, why was he doing it then? I don't get it. It's okay. Keep reading. I don't have to get it. Old customs, I don't understand.
I locked the money in the chest. Forgetting my sorrow and feeling happy, thanked her. She said to me, 'By God, even if I gave you my life, it would be less than you deserve.'" We lived together, but in less than a month, she fell ill and continued to get worse because of her grief for me. And in less than 50 days, she was dead.
Jesus.
After I buried her, I found that she had left me countless bequests, including the storeroom and the crop of sesame that you, Christian, sold for me. Morning overtook Shahrazad, and on the 121st night she said, I heard, O happy king, that the Christian broker told the king of China that the young man said, It was because I was busy selling the rest of the goods that I did not have the time to pay attention to you and receive my money from you. But now I have at last sold everything she left me. This is the reason why I ate with my left hand. Now, by God, Christian, you must not object to what I am about to do, for I have entered your home and eaten your food. Now I have to poop on your table. That's not real. Eating your food. I make you a present of all the money you are holding from me.
Aww.
And the sale of the sesame, for it is only a portion of what the supreme God has bestowed on me. The young man added, Christian, I have prepared a load of merchandise for trading. Will you go aboard with me? I replied, Yes, indeed, and agreed to go with him at the beginning of the month. Then, after I too bought merchandise, I set out with the young man until we came to your city, O king, where he bought merchandise and went back to Egypt. But it was my lot to stay here. This, then, is my adventure and strange story. Isn't it, O king, more amazing than the Hunchback story? I mean, really? The king of China replied,
I don't know about that.
The king of China replied, No! It is
No.
not more amazing than the Hunchback story, and I must hang all four of you for the Hunchback's death.
That actually, oh damn! Ooh, that's what you get for telling a shitty story, bro.
Right? Then the steward of the king's kitchen came forward and said to the king of China, Oh, happy king, if I tell you a story that happened to me last night before I found the Hunchback in my house, and you find it more amazing than the Hunchback story, will you grant us all of our lives and let us go?
Wait, he's gonna murder the cook too? Is it?
No,
like
this is the steward. The steward is the one that found the Hunchback in his house and clubbed him.
Okay.
He was the steward of the king's kitchen.
Yeah, not the. Oh, okay. So he. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm remembering.
The king of China replied, Yes, if I find it to be more amazing than the story of the Hunchback, I will grant all four of you your lives. And then the steward started his tale.
All right, and then we're gonna put a cap in it, and we're gonna have you guys go have a good night, and I will figure out how to turn off this live stream.
Mario Hinajosa says, Is that a rock with a wig on top?
Yep, basically.
Is that just I saw your little derpy doodle.
Yeah, my little derpy doodle. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and we'll peace out for tonight. All right, thank you for coming. See y'all later. I think I turned it off. Who knows? I don't know. Let me find the right place.
It takes a few seconds.
I know. I just got to. Oh, here we go. Stop broadcast. Sorry for dipping around, guys.